it worked out this time, and we actually got people in the chat before, like, kicking everything off and then trying to get people in.
You got to lube it up a little first.
Yeah, man, that's what I was doing.
Good stuff.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna wait till everybody reacts. Okay, Alex says that we're here. I just want to make sure we sound good. I don't hear like hardly any echo at all. It's, in fact, if I hear it, I think it's just because I'm hearing things. So I'm pretty excited.
I would knock on wood, but all my furniture is IKEA, and we all know that's not real wood.
That's true. This is
man.
sort of wooden over here. I think you could hit yourself in the head. I think that counts.
Hey now, that's a bag of rocks.
That's true. All right, here, let me pull up my fucking script. And we'll do this shit. Because it sounds like we're good. Man, I'm excited. If you can't tell. All right. There it is. All right, yeah, I went with Mario 2, so you'll like this. All right, I'm going to play some music, and you guys won't be able to hear it, but you'll hear me kind of start talking and stuff, and you'll realize.
You can always tell when Rory picks the music.
Yes, this is true. We're playing Super Mario Bros. 2 theme music, so there you go.
Yahoo!
All right, here we go. What's up, everybody? It's Rated In for Podcast. Today is, once again, Sunday, August 10th. I'm your host, Drew. Joining me today is Sean. What's up, Sean?
What up?
And Rory, as usual.
What's up, everyone?
And we have a special guest with us this week. We have Matt Dannevik of Polaris. He used to be on Inside Gaming over there in the Machinima house. And we're really glad you're here, man. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. So this is a video game podcast we do every week. We're live on Twitch right now. We're live every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. You can check us out at twitch.tv/ratedm for podcast. If you don't catch the live show, you can check us out at youtube.com/ratedm for podcast. And you can search us out on iTunes and on the internet. You could probably go to KFC and order us. And just kind of check us out everywhere you can find podcasts and stuff like that. So, it is the week before Gamescom. I just want to clarify something. Last week, we talked about Gamescom as if it was going to be this week. And that is a running trend that we do on the show that I just think we're just going to keep doing. Because we did that for Comic-Con. You guys remember that?
I don't remember yesterday.
Okay, all right. Well, once upon a time...
That's not surprising.
Hey.
Once upon a time, a long time ago... who was it? Somebody brought up that the Comic-Con was next week.
That was CJ. CJ was misinformed and said Comic-Con was happening while we were recording the podcast.
That's right.
And then we cut him from the show.
Yeah, we kicked him out. We told him to go hang out with P. Diddy out on Always On podcast, and we didn't want to see him ever again.
You all know we're joking. We love CJ.
Yeah, it's too bad he doesn't listen to the show. Anyways,
He's busy playing the Titanfall fucking finals for me right now.
Oh, is that what's happening right now?
Instead of playing the Titanfall finals. So
and
thank
you have CJ in your... oh, man. All right. Well, hopefully Sean doesn't have like an aneurysm or something while we're on the show.
That might happen.
If only I had a little violin.
So anyways, we're going to talk about, some game news that happened this week. We're going to talk about our reactions to them, and then we'll lock in our predictions for Gamescom. And one lucky person in the chat is going to win a Steam copy of Mirror's Edge. So be thinking about what you want to see coming out of Gamescom next week, and when we ask during that section, pop it in the chat, and we'll let you know if you won or not, just by random happenstance. So we always start the show off with what you playing. So why don't we kick it off with Sean? What you playing, even though you're not playing Titanfall right now?
I played the Swapper for
Yes,
on PS4 and Vita. I was hoping to do cross save, but it did not work.
What?
So yeah, I started playing on the Vita, and then I wasn't very far because I only play on my commute, and my commute's about 20 minutes each way. So when I went to the PS4, I tried to download my saves, and it didn't work, so I had to start over again. And then I got so far on the PS4, I was like, well, I'm finishing it on PS4. That game is incredible. Like my review's coming out tomorrow. Spoiler, I give it a very good review because it's an incredible game.
Fill me in, Sean. I don't know what this game is at all. I've never heard of it.
Okay, so
Did you really?
Yeah, this one I must have missed. This
It
one
was
completely.
a PC thing, so that might be why you kind of missed out on it before.
it came out last year on PC. It's an indie game. Basically, what it is you're a nameless protagonist, and you find this gun called the Swapper gun, and it lets you create up to 4 clones of yourself. So you and then 4 other clones, and then you have to use those clones to solve puzzles, to collect orbs, so that you can.
Rooms and stuff, right?
Basically,
Yeah,
like
well-
the Prestige, except sci-fi.
Oh, okay,
Ooh,
yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Well, the Prestige was sci-fi. But,
No, it wasn't. What are you talking about? That really happened.
Well, I guess it is Tesla. That's for real.
Tesla and clones, man.
It's like the Assassin's Creed brand of sci-fi where it kind of happened,
yeah.
but it really didn't.
So basically, and the thing is, when you create a clone, they all do whatever you do. So if you jump, they jump. If you run forward, they run. If you run backwards, they run. So you have to kind of
Oh, yeah, they did that cloning in Super Mario Brothers for Wii U.
you have to kind of position them in a certain way
That's a good point.
to get past these certain puzzles and stuff. But there's some puzzles that I honestly like. I'm not a patient man. Like, this might come as a shock to you and the listeners, but I am not a patient man. So
People's jaws are on the floor right now.
I don't have the wherewithal to really put my head into a puzzle that's giving me a hard time. So I did a couple times seek outside help, but I'd say I solved 90% of the puzzles on my own. And some of these, man, the ones that I had to get outside help, these guys are Mensa members, because I don't know how anyone could have figured this out without doing what I did, but clearly somebody did it first, so I don't know. But yeah, it's incredible. And graphically it's beautiful. They made all this everything in the game is made from clay or like real world objects.
Oh yeah,
And-
that's right. Yeah, it had like a really crazy artist or art direction, right? It's
Yeah, and it's
like that
gorgeous. The
shrunken
lighting.
feeling.
Yeah, and it's just, I mean, I can't. It's so visually stunning that it's just like, I'm just really excited about this game because I haven't played. But like, I'm gonna say it. This is my favorite game so far this year.
Wow, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
but not like, obviously, like, I love Titanfall because Titanfall's given me more plot. You can't really you play this and it's like the same way you play Portal over again. It's just to see how quick you can get through the puzzles, but there's really not a lot of replay value. But the thing is, there's an awesome story that unfolds as you're doing these tasks, and you find out like more and more of the mystery as to what's going on. And the ending was really, really, really cool, and it left me like thinking about.
You want to save some of this for your review for us to read, Sean?
Well, I mean,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, I mean, well, here's the thing: we talk about games that we're playing, but then we kind of like, I'm the only one who goes into any detail. Everybody says, "I'm playing this game, I like it," and then we move on. But
Well,
I feel
yeah.
like if we're having a video game podcast talking about the games we're playing, we should talk about the games we're playing. Call me crazy.
You're
But,
crazy.
Yeah.
No,
So
it's
right
funny.
now it's only available on PC and PlayStation platforms.
Right.
But if you still have a PS3, you can get it. It's cross buy, cross save, so it'll go to any platform you have, any Sony
That's
platform
right.
you have.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. Like, it was a really, really, really fun. It's short though. It's short. It's probably about 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So Rory, what'd you play this week, man?
Nothing new as far as releases go, but I played a few games. I played a little more Strike Suit Zero, that free games with gold that's been on PC and Steam for like a year now. I'm enjoying it. Like I said last time, I'm finding it a little repetitive in the missions. The missions aren't all that intriguing, but the combat is good. I'm enjoying the gameplay at its core. So if you're a fan of flight simulators, check it out. It's free. You might as well download it and at least scope it out. Been playing some more Watch Dogs. That game still is just not hooking me. I'm having a hard time getting through it. I just find the story completely bland. I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Finally played the drinking mini game though and dabbled around, explored the world more, and I'll finish it. But it's probably going to be the slowest it's taken me to beat any game in recent memory. It's just not that interesting to me. I like the basic mechanics of the game and the ideas there, but the story and the lead protagonist, it's put me to sleep. And to top it off, I've been playing a little Rise again, Son of Rome. I played for 3 hours again, streamed
You got
it.
excited?
You
know
are a
what?
glutton for punishment, man. I swear to God. Or you are just easily amused.
You know what it is? Well, that is one thing. Like, it's like, I like the simple things with Rise. The gameplay is repetitive, but I like Roman setting games, and I like that I can just get into a Coliseum with some people online and just hack some limbs off. And it's pretty. So every now and again, if I just want to shut off my brain and just hack limbs off and meet up with a buddy online, it's like, all right, I'll play a little bit of Rise. Again, not deep, not the greatest game, but every now and again, it's fun to slay some
Matt,
bad
do you
games.
remember Time Killers?
Time Killer.
It's the one from like the 90s, the horrible what was it, 4-player or something like that?
It was a 2D fighting game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a 2D fighting game. You could like cut
Yeah.
people's limbs off and stuff.
Yeah.
I do kind of remember that.
Yeah. That when you said you were getting into a Coliseum and just hacking people's limbs off, that just instantly made me think of Time Killers. And then I started thinking, man, what if Rise was just a modern Time Killers? I think that'd be pretty
God,
rad.
I'm looking at the character. There's Rancid,
Yeah.
Death,
Oh, good.
but he has neon green on him, and
Oh, yeah, it's very
orange
colorful.
hair.
It's very
He's got a
colorful.
scythe, which seems a little unfair.
Fighters of the 90s.
There's Matrix, who's a
Ah.
black lady. She kind of looks like a little Sonya action with it. Oh, and they stole the dwarf from Golden Axe.
Yeah,
There's a
every
caveman.
time,
There's
yeah.
a caveman that looks like Blanca.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
That's
That's a
terrible.
good point. I'm glad you pointed out the Golden Axe thing because I've always looked at Time Killers and been like, I feel like some of these characters are ripped from other games and I can't really put my finger on it. That's exactly right. It does. He does look like he's straight out of Gauntlet. Like he's lost. Yeah. So, what was I going to say? Okay, so you were streaming Rise, right?
Yeah, I
You were
luckily
streaming
today
Rise
I was,
multiplayer?
we couldn't connect to live at one point though. I was gonna play with a viewer and help him just do some co-op so we can get another one of his like
Rad.
God's powers leveled
You're
up or
using
something like that.
The
And,
Connect voice commands.
oh, of course, playing through the single player. Here's the thing. This is what drives me nuts about that with those Connect voice commands because they give you the option to hit the button press during the campaign and such.
Yeah.
But you have to hold that bumper down for so fucking long.
Yeah, that's the
that
trade-off.
you,
They make you either yell at it or you gotta punish by waiting.
Sometimes I end up holding my button halfway and then just going, "This is taking too long," and then shouting out the command, and I still get it out quicker shouting it out. It's ridiculous, but I gotta say, 90% of the time I'm fucking shouting it out just because I can't wait for that goddamn button prompt to finish.
Nice.
Woo! There's a little anger there.
All right. So what about you, Matt? What have you been playing this week, man?
This week I've been it's weird because recently I've been slowly turning back into a Blizzard fanboy
I see
after
that. Yeah.
many years of not doing that. I've been playing a decent amount of Heroes of the Storm with some former coworkers, which is kind of funny because I'm not the biggest MOBA fan. Well, that's not true. I've played a lot of Smite, but the top-down isometric MOBA stuff it hasn't really caught my fancy as much. But Heroes of the Storm, it's really fun. Just kind of the sort of even though it's essentially the same objectives and the same kind of ideas and concepts behind it, the way they're executed is more forgiving and just kind of pushes the action a little bit more.
Yeah.
Also, just generally, it's cool because I have a full group most of the time when I'm going, rather than trying to just enter into a MOBA alone is kind of the. Though I was having fun with it when I was just on my own. But also, of course, because I have an iPad and I hate myself, I play Hearthstone, and I've been playing Naxxramas. It's just God, fuck that game, fuck it so hard.
Now, did you buy the other wings, or are you still just hanging out in the first wing?
No, I bought the whole thing. I was gonna. I had no choice, and in fact, actually, I bought the second wing twice, essentially, iTunes and Blizzard each are going, I don't know where the money went.
Oh, good.
It's
Yeah.
a thing.
Lovely.
But yeah, I got everything, and oh god damn it.
I think that's so. I think it's funny that of all the Blizzard games, if I had to guess, Hearthstone is probably the toughest that's out right now, which is just so weird to think about. Like the collectible card game is more unforgiving than the MOBA that they are working on, and that just blows my mind.
Well, I don't know. I'd still say just because it's I mean it's got the history and it's a lot of different factors. I'd still say StarCraft 2 is probably like that. You could get in, and after like a week of really playing Hearthstone, if you kind of have a mind for it, you can do pretty good in Hearthstone. Whereas like StarCraft 2, you know, you're gonna be up shit creek for a very long time playing anybody.
Yeah, well, yeah. Now playing PvP, but see, in my mind, well, at least my primary experience with StarCraft 2 was just the campaign, because I was like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna go like get my face rubbed in the dirt every time I try to play a match. So I just wanted to play through the story and learn see all the pretty cutscenes and all that stuff. So I do agree though that the learning curve for an RTS is way higher than a CCG, but
yeah. Well, also I also gotta knock Hearthstone because I'm an avid Magic the Gathering player.
There you go.
It's Magic the Gathering for babies, but
well, I think that's what they're trying to do with all their games, is make their games like the pinnacle of that genre, but make it for babies or for everybody.
Yeah, I have someone at the office described Heroes of the Storm as Dota for babies.
Yeah.
It's all right. Babies gotta have fun.
Yeah, and I don't think they'd argue with that. I think they would agree that that they're trying to make it as playable for the most people possible, so they can take all the money. Because why not? It seems to be working so well or so far for them.
Yeah, they got a lot of money.
All right, so I guess I should go. I played Halo. Go figure. I have a weekly Halo game night, so I played some Halo 3 last weekend, or I guess Friday. I don't know what day it is. Let's see. I also played. I'm trying to figure out what to do to kill some time over the next month until Destiny comes out. So I decided to go back and pick a handful of games that I either haven't finished or would love to go back and play. And so I landed on Skyrim, which I haven't finished the DLC for. Fallout 3, I never finished a couple of the DLC things. I got pretty close. And then BioShock and The Witcher 2. So right now I'm playing back through BioShock because I never actually completed it.
Infinite?
No, the first one. I did complete Infinite, just straight through. For some reason, Infinite felt like it flowed a lot easier to me than the first BioShock. The first BioShock seems far more complicated. Does anybody else agree with that?
Well, the gameplay is quite different because of the way, I can't remember the big difference now, but they simplified what you had to do with the triggers and the bumpers going into BioShock 2, and then they followed that through with Infinite. I know it was different devs, but they switched it up. They were much more complicated in the original BioShock, but I can't exactly remember what was up with it.
So I don't know if maybe I just didn't get it the first time around, but when BioShock first came out, I recognized that it was awesome. I loved how it looked. The story was really cool. The atmosphere was great. But there was something about the gameplay that just kind of put me off. It feels very PC. It feels like it's, a game that's born out of PC, which I've never played System Shock, but I know that is literally where that game is, kind of birthed from. But there was something about it that felt weird. So it took years before I actually went back and played it. And I got about halfway through and I never finished it. But I knew what was going on with it. And so this month I'm going to go back and finish that and hopefully finish The Witcher 2 and then maybe try to grab some of that DLC. But as soon as Destiny comes out, that's all I'm going to be playing. So that's what I'm up to this week. Why don't we talk about some news? And let's see. What did you want to kick off with, Sean? Do you want to talk about Assassin's Creed first, or do you want to roll into something to kind of get some of this minor stuff out of the way?
Well, the Assassin's Creed thing is your deal. I that's all you.
Okay.
I mean, I have thoughts, but they're not. Yeah. That's not what I think the biggest news or not necessarily the biggest news, but the biggest topic that seems to be the thing that everybody's talking about.
Okay. Well, why don't we talk about that real quick then? Assassin's Creed Rogue was announced this week with that trailer. First of all, did you guys catch the trailer? What'd you think of it, Sean? I know you don't like seeing trailers that doesn't involve gameplay, so I'm wondering if you even saw it.
Nope.
Okay.
For all the reasons that you stated.
Yeah, thought so. Rory, what do you think about the Assassin's Creed Rogue?
I'm looking at your notes. That's
Okay.
more information that I had known about the game before.
So it's the Game Informer cover, and I grabbed a lot of that stuff out of there. Like,
it's good
some of
info.
their
My thing with that game is that, like, I had no intention of buying 2 Assassin's Creed games this year. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get the next gen one if I'm gonna get one, and the next gen one looks pretty awesome. With this one though, like I love the open water and the ship mechanics of Black Flag. Like I wasn't a fan of Assassin's Creed 3 overall, but I really did like the naval stuff. So when Black Flag went open world, almost open world, and had that awesome vast sea and the great naval battles,
Yeah.
I fell in love with that stuff. I could just float around in that ship all day long. So I'm super torn here because I want the next gen version. I don't really want to spend money on 2 Assassin's Creed games, but the next gen version seems like it's dropped all the naval stuff, and I was kind of excited to see what that was going to be like on next gen. And the 360 PS3 version is going to be between 3 and 4, and it's going to focus on some ship stuff as well, smaller boat, and I don't know. I'm intrigued by that. I'm starting to wonder if I'll end up playing them both. Like, I might. Beforehand, if you had asked me, I would have been like, not a chance. I'm playing Rogue, sticking to next gen. But now I'm kind of like, oh, well,
You know,
we'll see.
I was on the other end of that spectrum. When I first heard the rumors that there was going to be 2 Assassin's Creed games this year, like 2 entirely different ones on different generations, I guess is the best way to describe it. The first thing I thought was, oh, I guess I'm buying 2 Assassin's Creed games this year, because I so far have really enjoyed every experience I've had with Assassin's Creed, with like minor concerns. Revelations was really the lowest point I'd had because I was just tired of Assassin's Creed at that point. And then I enjoyed 3 all the way through, and then could never go back and play it again because I played Far Cry and was like, well, I should have been playing this the whole time. But I really loved 4, and when I heard there were 2, I was like, all right, cool, I'm going to play 2. And as time went on and I saw Unity, and I saw the amount of like new shit they're putting into Unity and what they're trying to do to push the Xbox One and the PS4 with it, I immediately started thinking like, I don't know what they're going to do on the 360, but it's probably not going to be anywhere near as cool as this, so why would I do that? So I've kind of come full circle back to the point where now that I know that Rogue and Unity are coming out, in my opinion, backwards. So I'll refer to some of my notes here. Assassin's Creed Unity comes out October 28th, my birthday, which means nothing, but still, I thought it was interesting. It comes out on my birthday.
It's significant.
Yeah, no, it means something, right? There's
Yeah.
something there. It's important.
Yeah,
It means
like that.
Yeah, Abstergo knows me.
Yeah, and it also means in the weeks leading up to that launch, you're going to be hinting at everybody, maybe I could get this as a present.
Oh, I know, right? Just like Facebook posts every day. Hey, 4 days until my birthday. Oh, by the
I'd
way,
really like to have this.
all of these games come out that day.
Someone drops it on you from the top of a building.
Yeah.
Eagle noise, and then just stuff you in the head. There you go.
Yeah, some parkour guy just runs up and jumps off the side of a building and hits me in the face with a copy of Unity. But then,
So why do you think it's coming out backwards?
but then Rogue comes out like a month later. Well, actually, I guess a couple weeks later.
2 weeks later.
Yeah, to me, I would want to put Rogue out first, because if people make the jump to Unity and trade in their Xbox 360s to get an Xbox One for Assassin's Creed or all of the other games coming out in October, they probably won't pick up Rogue. So I'm really curious if there was just a production thing that made it kind of go this way. But in my mind, it's backwards for just a couple reasons like that. But we'll see.
I think it's kind of smart though, because even if people trade in, you got to think those Assassin's Creed games sell like 12 million copies.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And that install base isn't going anywhere. I mean, even if a fraction of people get rid of their Xbox 360 and PS3, they're still gonna, there's still people that haven't made that jump, and they're not gonna make that jump until Christmas. Till like Christmas Day or whatever it is. So
Sure.
I don't think it's a bad idea. The only thing is, in terms of somebody like who's still straddling both generations, who has current gen and last gen consoles, the things that I see them doing with Assassin's Creed Unity in terms of movement and improving things like that have always been kind of sticking points. As much as I love Assassin's Creed, they're kind of like things you accept as part of the series, but they could be better, like traversal.
Yeah.
It seems like they're doing that, making strides to improve that.
Or
Go ahead.
like to me it seems like the thing that always kind of is weak about Assassin's Creed that they don't really address is that it's, even though you're supposed to be an assassin, like hit one person and like get it done and then leave, it always devolves into the Dance Dance Revolution combat of
Yeah.
circle, square, like fighting 9 people in broad daylight in the street. It's also kind of what I didn't like about the after the Batman, the after Arkham Asylum, fucking Arkham City, where they're just like, oh yeah, there are these giant, like, I really wish it would be more take more time and stealth based and kind of takedowns and more like planning your stuff out and a little bit more gadget based. I guess I really just wish Assassin's Creed was Arkham Asylum.
That'd be pretty rad. I think they'd learn. They would make the game a lot more along the lines of what you would expect from an assassin game, right?
Yes. And then it's also why it's like I understand the want to have gameplay within a trailer, but for a trailer for a series like Assassin's Creed, you know exactly what you're going to be getting for it, and so like at this point it's really more like, what story, what characters, ooh, we're a Templar, oh, he's on the ice for some reason and he has a musket. Like it's kinda like I can see why they did that, to like it chose that as their trailer. Also, it's a reveal trailer, so it's
right.
like,
Oh, for sure.
Really
Yeah, I just have a thing where I can't get excited about a CGI trailer. It's just physically impossible.
All game trailers are computer generated imagery.
Well, and no gameplay, just cutscenes like that.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
I can't get excited about that stuff.
So I did grab a bunch of details out of the Game Informer thing, and that kind of sets the tone for Rogue. It says, so tell me if this sounds familiar. When players first meet Shay, he's a 21-year-old recruit who's already beginning to question why the assassins operated as they do. Basically, Shay starts off as a brash young man, says Richard Ferres, the game's writer. He doesn't really take his role seriously as an assassin, not because he doesn't believe in the cause, but because he's young and not quite wise yet. So I feel like this is going to feel like Brotherhood, which is funny because the team who's making it is a team that split off after finishing Brotherhood. So that could be good, I guess, in a way, as far as like how the story unfolds with this character. But I'm afraid it might feel a little familiar for veterans. I'm not sure.
I've lost track with the stories of the games now. Assassins and the Templars, seriously, it was never a reason. Like, I understand why people do enjoy the stories to it, sure. But for me, it's just like, it's about the gameplay for the most part with Assassin's Creed. That's sort of why I dive into it. I've completely lost track of what's going on.
What I think is interesting to kind of talk about both of these games, right? What I think is interesting about what you're critiquing in the systems, Matt, is exactly what they're changing in Unity. The counter, first of all, Assassin's Creed Unity doesn't have a counter anymore. Like, there is no counter in Assassin's Creed Unity. So if you are surrounded by more than like 2 or 3 guys, the way they're describing it is you need to run. So I think that'll be interesting, at least as far as, you know, a lot of times after Assassin's Creed 2, one of the common tropes of Assassin's Creed is you just get into as much trouble as possible and then just fight off like waves and waves of guys until you get bored, and then you run away and do something else. But apparently that's not going to be the case here. They're trying to make the combat feel much more life-threatening, I guess. And they are building more stealth mechanics into the game. So it sounds like that's the direction that they're going to take it. I think what I'm curious about is how much of that direction are they going to be able to implement into Rogue? And if not, is Rogue going to feel that much worse if Unity feels that much better? You know what I mean? Like coming off of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, I think Rogue would feel natural. But if you play Unity first and then you want to pick up Rogue, it might feel like you're taking a step back as far as
I hadn't heard
designs.
that they're taking the counter move away.
Yeah,
that's
I heard it
that's
today.
really gonna fundamentally change combat in that game. I'm really
Yes, it
curious
is.
about that.
Yeah, what they're trying to do is kind of make it so that each one-on-one encounter with a guard or anybody feels like almost like a mini boss battle, so to speak. Like you really
I
need
wouldn't
to pay
mind
attention to
like
what they're doing.
I wouldn't mind if they still kept counters in, but maybe tied it to not an energy bar, but like well, I'm losing my train of thought here, but like when you're
Just make it like a skill shot, right? Like
yeah,
something
you
have
got
to
you
pull off.
get a few of them before you're sort of like out of breath. Not, out of breath isn't the word I'm really looking for, but you guys understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, like just something that it costs you, right? I did watch. So there's a video on. I got most of this stuff from Game Informer because they're doing it all month. But the video that I was watching where he was talking about the fact that they removed counter, they've made, the fact that if you're surrounded by guys, that's a bad sign. Like you're usually only going to be encountering more than like 2 or 3 people at a one time.
Cool.
The thing that I saw though was when Arnaud, the assassin you play as in Unity, was fighting this guy, there were moves that looked like counters. Like there was no indicator, there was no like, press Y to counter now type thing. But there was a thing where like he clanged swords with the guy and then he like spun around and punched him or whatever, and that kind of sent him back on his feet a little bit. So it bought him a second to go on the offensive. And I think it feels like a counter, but they're not building it like the counters have worked since Assassin's Creed 2, like what Matt's talking about, where I like the Dance Dance Revolution thing. I would love to see it as like a rhythm game. Like I would love to see a rhythm game of Assassin's Creed combat, just your assassins kicking ass and you're actually playing Dance Dance Revolution or some kind of rhythm game. That'd be ridiculous. But it sounds like they're going to do things very differently with Unity, and it sounds like they're doing things very, at least from what I can tell, very more familiar to what Black Flag was, just bigger, better, badder, and uncut or whatever in Rogue. So I don't know. So Matt, do you want to play both of these games? Did you want to play both of the games when you heard about Comet? Like, what's your take on this overall?
No, to be honest, I'm not the hugest assassin. Like, I did about 75% of 3 and skipped Black Flag. I'm not exactly the hugest Assassin's Creed fan. I'm probably going to skip Rogue, and I would imagine that I'm not going to, unless the gameplay is really...
Is 3 the only one you've played?
I played the original one too,
Okay.
and then also Brotherhood.
You missed out on the 2 best. Number 2 in Black Flag, for sure. Hands down the best.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, you guys know that Ubisoft is part of the Assassin's Creed lore as well.
Oh, yeah.
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 Like it's like the space aliens thing and the like.
Yeah.
It's like from a story point, it's really hard for me to kind of get
Like stomach all that
into
stuff.
it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say stomach it. It's just not very. It's not very compelling for me.
yeah.
I like, and so then it rests on gameplay, which it at times can be good, but it isn't consistently good enough for me to be like really like I must get this game.
Yeah.
I'm going to play all this game. Do it a whole bunch. I mean, I'll play Unity just because it's the first next gen Assassin's Creed, and see what they're doing to take it. Because I mean, even though there was no way in hell that the E3 demo was played on one of the like a PS4 or an Xbox One, it was like a $20,000 PC because that's just how they do these things now.
Right.
Even still, it looked really beautiful, and so like if they can, there's still always a chance. They get a puncher's chance to do a knockout where like there's still cool things that can happen from that franchise. So
And you can
I'll
play
give
it
it
with
a
friends
try.
now.
But
Unity's got that co-op thing, so you can play with your buddies.
there's that too. I mean, again, like though it'd be interesting to see how they implement it, if the 4-player co-op is within the campaign or if it's like this own side thing. I mean, they got rid of competitive multiplayer, I'm pretty sure. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, like they were really pushing a lot of that stuff, a lot of the multiplayer at E3. Now that a lot of the kind of the paywall stuff for subscriptions are down now, so they're really putting this. Microsoft and Sony are really putting the screws to developers to be like, hey, give people a reason to shell out $5 a month to us. Do it. You gotta. And so they're like, all right, it's big cooperative. Play the cooperative. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. I wouldn't say I'm like a non-Assassin's Creed fan, but I'm generally pessimistic to my chances for like really getting into one.
Okay. Cool. Well, why don't we move on to some of the other news pieces, and then we'll talk about the other big topic that I think we're going to dive into as far as news goes. So, Sunset Overdrive, white Xbox One confirmed for people who are interested. I don't know, Rory, you were saying you might want to get that at white Xbox One. Are you still on that or no?
Yeah, I really want it. Now it's just about being realistic in the sense of, can I sell my black one, and do I bother doing that just to get this white one and re-download my games?
Yeah.
But, it's weird. I usually like my Nintendo consoles to be white or gray. But this gen, like, I'm going to have my black Wii U, and I haven't got my PS4 yet, and I'm like that white PS4 one. So, yeah, and the white Xbox, for me personally, I just think it looks so nice.
Yeah.
Really crisp, really clean. I want it. I definitely want it. Now I'm just thinking, do I do it? But I want it.
So one of the other points was Evolve got pushed. Evolve is coming out in August next year now. Not even like, I thought it was going to get pushed to like February or March or something. Comes out this time next year.
That's a crazy push, yeah.
I thought it was going to be like a slight delay just to get it out of, the release onslaught of October, but now it feels like, and their wording was actually something about, we want to get the game to the point to where it should be when it comes out. That's a pretty big jump.
It's a huge delay. Like, I was with you. I was expecting maybe early 2015 then, but it's like a year push almost. It's nuts. And there was
announced the delay. They announced the delay after this closed alpha.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's reaction then?
I think it is somewhat. I've played the game a decent amount. I actually played it a long time ago.
Oh, really?
Even before it was announced.
When it was THQ?
No, not THQ. They were with 2K by this point.
Oh, okay.
I think the game, like, it makes for a really good first impression and cuts for a really good trailer. I think, though, that they, in some ways, though, that they were a little bit afraid that they kind of, and I guess if you're a Titanfall fan, you may not like hearing this, my appraisal on this, but they may have been afraid that they just don't have enough stuff to add to the frame of it.
Right. Yeah, no, that's a good point.
It is kind of a rudimentary thing, so they're like, well, fuck, we need, if, we're going up against, like, these games that have, that add modular amounts of, like, characters to it.
Like Destiny?
Like Destiny. Well, Destiny, or I'd even say, like, more like kind of like a MOBA, how it sort of, they add a new ADC or a new, like, whatever every week.
Yeah. I think that, I don't know, did we just lose you, Matt?
I don't know, it sounded like we might have.
We might have lost Matt. All right, timeout.
Matt!
No. I'll call him back. Hold on. His line's busy. Calling him again. His line's busy. Uh-oh. Oh, he's on his iPad, so. Hey.
There I am.
Hey.
Django. No, so to speak to what you were talking about, I totally agree, and I think the first time anybody saw Evolve and got the full picture of what it is, I think a lot of assumptions about it being a MOBA type game where you're gonna like buy new monsters or download new heroes every couple months or something was the big assumption, and I don't think that's what they were going for. You know what I mean? So.
Well, and also just to like the gameplay, like, so that, like, I think they figured they were light on content, and then also just generally in terms of gameplay, while it is fun, it's really hard to tell you're doing you're progressing. Like
Right.
when I first played it, I was playing against the developers as the monster, and I was like doing my thing or whatever, and then all of a sudden the game was over, and they're like, "Oh, you won!" And I was like, "Really? I won?" And they're like, "Yeah, you did it." And I was
Yay.
like, "Okay, great."
It's funny you mentioned Titanfall because I actually run into that a lot on Titanfall as well. There's so much going on that I'm like, oh man, we're losing because I'm not doing well or something like that, or I'm like, oh, we're wiping the floor with these guys, and then the match will end and I'm like, okay, so do I need to kill the dropship or do I need to get to the dropship? Because that's like the only way I'm gonna know if I won or not. Like,
If it says defeat, then you have to get to the dropship.
that's what I'm saying though.
If it
Like
says
once it
victory,
says
you have to-
once it says defeat, I'm like, oh, we lost. Like I didn't even realize it. In fact, it's. I mean, I get what you're saying.
Drew
but
hasn't noticed there's a progress bar on the
I
bottom
was
left
literally
screen.
on
with numbers on it.
I was in a party with a guy tonight, like just chatting it up, and he was like, "Oh, apparently we won. I didn't even realize that." Like, I get that that's there, and obviously derp to derp, you can pay attention and see like stuff, but I see what you mean, Matt, where there could be like this sense of you got to know that you're making progress. So you got to like feel it, and more so than just see it as numbers on a screen.
Well, it's even to a lesser extent. There isn't. I mean, yeah, they like kind of give you some visual damage on the whatchamacallit, on the monster,
Right.
and like the people, like the hunters, even less so. Actually, they're just kind of like, and they could be revived a bunch of times if they need to. Like I have yet to actually see a hunter like wipe as much. Like I think they still just got a lot of stuff to kind of I feel like work on and make it good, which is good that they're doing it because it has a lot of potential, and I like what they're
I think everybody wants good things for these guys. Toro Rock is a great studio. Everybody loved Left 4 Dead. Their story is really interesting. They're a unique group. Sorry, I just heard some. Okay, cool. We're good. They're a unique group in that they went to Valve. They made games for Valve, and then Valve was like, "All right, you're good if you want to make something else," and then went off to make something else. Like, if I told you, "Hey, you have a chance to go work at Valve, like at or for Valve," but you're going to decide that you want to go do your own thing later, like you would just slap me. You'd be like, "No way, Valve is like the biggest company and blah blah blah." But I mean, they're really true to the fact that they wanted to make a unique thing, and I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, Sean, let's
Yes.
talk about Rise. Let's talk about Crytek. Let's maybe not kick
Here we
them
go
while they're
again.
down, but but maybe let's summarize like what the hell is going on. I want to hear your take on it.
Well, basically, long story short, Eurogamer had an exclusive interview with the CEO of Crytek. I forget his name. It's not important after you hear what he said. And basically he was explaining what was going on, and he was talking about transitions and all this stuff, and it cost them money. And then it came up that not being paid, their employees not being paid, and you've heard now. I don't know if you're aware, but the guys Vigil, they left. The guys who they brought into Crytek USA, 12 of those guys left and started their own studio. So, they're hemorrhaging all this talent. They're not paying people. And he basically said, I mean, he didn't basically said, he said that some of the people that left or spoke out about it were just being impatient because they had to make a decision to keep the company afloat or to pay the people. And like, okay, I can kind of understand he wants to keep the company afloat, but you need to pay the people. And anybody who doesn't get a paycheck if I have a shitty little job that is, if I'm not there, it's probably not that important, and my work is not that important. But if I don't get my paycheck when I'm supposed to, I'm gonna be pissed. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't care if you're the patron of a saint. You expect a paycheck. You should be getting a paycheck. And to dismiss it as, oh well, some of those people were impatient. It's like, no, fuck you, dude. You didn't pay them. So for me, that was just a shitty thing to say. But they also said that the reason why Rise 2 isn't happening right now is because they're not happy with the install base of the Xbox One. Whatever, like it could be true, it could not be true. Rise probably didn't sell as much as they had hoped. I don't know how they planned on how much they hoped it would sell for a launch title,
Right.
but whatever. It's just another thing where it's just like Crytek. They've gotten to the point where I don't ever want to buy a Crytek game new again. Like I want to buy all their games used and tweet pictures at them.
And pirate the shit out of them or something.
No, I won't pirate,
I'm just teasing.
but I'll buy used.
Well, so Matt, I want to get your reaction real quick to what he said about maybe not the impatience thing, because that's him on the business tip, like just kind of speaking his mind, but the install base of the Xbox One. I think we've all noticed that the PS4 is doing great, but the Xbox One's doing pretty well too, just not as good as the PS4. Do you agree with that, or do you think that this expectation is reasonable?
I mean, yeah, it's going to be a long generation. It's hard to tell. Like, there's really the only reason the PS4 is selling better than the Xbox One, really, in my estimation, is that it's just for the money to hardware, the bang for the buck, it's a better machine. But game-wise and whatnot, there's very little compelling reason to go one way or the other right now. For one, like, it's just kind of I don't know. It's an interesting. It's interesting that they got, like, we live in a sort of culture right now that, like, right out the gate, they are already starting to, like, kind of compete and jockey for a thing.
Declare winners.
Forget about a Gamescom prediction. I'll give you a games prediction.
All right.
This is the last generation of proprietary hardware from either Sony or Microsoft.
So you're buying that?
Yeah, like, it's just that they're like the Microsoft and Sony both lose money on consoles. It's really almost more of, like, kind of a PR thing at this point, that, like, they kind of do them. They're like, oh, he's always done them, so we kind of have to. We've built this sort of industry about it. It takes a lot of money to make things and move things to stores and then support those things when invariably they break.
Yep.
It's just way easier to be like, some people make some hardware and then we'll, maybe sell an operating system or something like that.
I would agree, except the weird part with Sony, though, is that they are a hardware company, or at least they've always been a hardware company. They're starting to get out of things with, what do they leave, PC? What did they stopped doing something?
They're a hardware company. Well, they're kind of a hardware company. Really, the only thing that makes money for them anymore is their media division, and then they sell insurance in Japan.
Oh, that's right.
That's like
about the
it
insurance
that makes money. They lose money on pretty much everything else, which is a bummer. But they make money on ruining Spider-Man over and over again.
There you go. Yeah. That's working out for them.
I think my theory is that they're just going to keep on making worse and worse Spider-Man and then hold it for ransom.
And it makes them more and more money every time, right?
You're like, we'll do it. We'll make 4. You think Venom was bad? Wait till you see Carnage. He's going to be fucking awful.
We're going to have Carnage doing the, putting on the Ritz on top of, like, the Empire State Building.
Definitely. That'd be great.
Okay, so
just
Sean, what's your
about,
take, real quick, man? Yeah, please.
Well, the thing is, and this is something that everyone keeps saying, that, like, Xbox, and I mentioned this earlier in the chat that we were having. Everyone talks about how Xbox One is selling better than the Xbox 360 did. And hold on one second, my Xbox decided to listen to something else. Xbox, go
awesome.
back. So basically everyone's saying that it's selling better than it was, last generation at this time.
Yeah.
But the install base was only 25 million. So they were building off of 25 million install base. So the fact that they were selling well at all is pretty impressive. But when you're coming out of an 80 million install base, the expectation is supposed to be higher. And the thing is, like, maybe the Xbox, the problem is that we haven't heard what those numbers are for months. It started with...
but do you think that the guys at Crytek know what they are?
I think they have. I think they absolutely have. They any decision that you have to make in terms of in terms of whether or not you're going to make your game console exclusive. That number has to be uh, information that they get,
Yeah.
because you have to figure out what deal is fair when you're leaving your game off an entire other platform. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that just seems silly to me that they wouldn't know that information, and they're just going to be like, "Yep, we'll sign on the dotted line and we'll make your game just for your system." Like, you know what I mean? Like, that has to weigh into the decision making.
Well,
But
the interesting thing with Rise specifically, like I get what you're saying. I get that
I
they,
get
you know, they got to know, and maybe they're disappointed and they didn't, you know, things are different than what they expected them to be. But what's funny is with Rise, that wasn't even supposed to be an Xbox One game. It was supposed to be a Kinect only game way back when, and you know, things have changed so much with that deal over time. I wonder if that might play into their quote unquote saltiness out of this whole situation and why they're jumping to PC, and you know, maybe Rise 2 or something, or whatever Crytek does in the future will never be exclusive. But again, I think it's still weird for this situation to be what we've been talking about over the last few weeks, with people like losing their jobs or leaving or not getting paid and having to, you know, deal with all this stuff. For the CEO to be like, well, they're just being impatient, and you know, it's Microsoft's fault because they didn't sell enough Xboxes. And like, that's how it comes across. And I know it's not that simple, but it sure doesn't look good. Like, it's not. This is not a fun story to talk about, and it's interesting, but it's never really a like, oh well, yeah, these guys got screwed over or whatever. It's very. It seems much more complicated than that. But let's
They
move
need
on.
to just license their engine to more people.
Yes,
they
do
need to
that
be
more.
like Epic, make one game, and then just keep on licensing.
Yeah,
like
man.
honestly, selling off blah blah blah. Fuck, what they sell off? Oh, Homefront.
Homefront, yeah.
Smartest thing they could have done. Like, that was
Yeah.
good. Because clearly, the fact that they got any money for the Homefront franchise in quotation marks,
Yeah,
it's a fucking miracle. So now they can accomplish anything,
right.
because they sold Homefront to somebody who's great. But I mean, you know, they should just work. Like, making a game takes too much time, and there's a lot that can go wrong with it. And if you don't know how to like market a game, if you don't know how to really actually necessarily design one anymore, you shouldn't do it, and just stick to what you can do. And
Agreed.
being able to make one product and then sell it over and over again for a lot of money can do a lot of great things for you. Like, you know, as in the case of Epic, even though they're doing Unreal Tournament now, which
I feel like that's like 5 people who are really excited about it. It's like the older guys at Epic. They're like, all right, we're going to do this, but we get to go make our Unreal game over here. And everybody's like, all right, go for it. We're going to keep licensing this stuff out to everybody and anybody that wants to make an iOS game.
yeah.
And it works. Yeah, it makes them money. That's the goal. You want to make money so that you can make creative efforts. So real quick, before we get off of news, we have 2 pieces that kind of tie together. So I'll run through them real quick, and then we can talk about really this other trend that we're seeing happen, and that is old games being new again, which is not a new trend in video games, but it's really starting to happen a lot at the beginning of this generation. So Sleeping Dogs is getting a definitive edition on current-gen systems in October of this year, which is kind of crazy. It's also come to PC in definitive edition, so I don't think we've seen gameplay. We saw this weird trailer that was all... Like, I like that you called it out, Rory, because when I first glanced at it, I thought it was all CGI, but I went back and watched and was like, nope, that is
No, I
all
called
live
out that
action.
it was live
That's
action.
totally, yeah. That is all live. Like, you made a live action
what's-
trailer that looked a lot like a video game trailer.
Well, what was confusing about it too was that people were commenting like, "Is that a cutscene from the game? Is that, or is that like just cinematic?
Yeah,
is
maybe
that, like,
it's a cutscene,
CG
but it's full
cinematics?"
motion
And I was
video.
like, "What the hell did I just watch? Like, did I watch something completely different? Because that clearly said." This is like not real game footage, and then it was just a pure live action commercial. I was just like, what? I don't know. It seems so odd that they would put that disclaimer on the front, like anybody would mistake it for CG or in-game or whatever. Yet people were. That I was just like mind-boggled by that.
Yeah. But so we have Sleeping Dogs coming, and then Capcom just announced that Resident Evil Remastered is coming to all 4 platforms. So no Nintendo Resident Evil game, and it is in development. There's no like release date or window or anything like that, but they just announced that hey, we're making Resident Evil again. It's gonna be awesome. And then they showed a bunch of assets that I felt like looked like garbage, but that's just me.
Well,
but,
it's just like kind of like an up-res of a 13-year-old game or whatever it is now, right? Like they're not rebuilding it from scratch. They're just
13. Resident Evil's older than 13 years old.
No, but I'm talking about remake, right?
Oh, okay.
It came out
yeah,
in 2001,
it is pretty much
right?
remake, right? Like up-res.
Yeah, no, that's what it is. They're re-releasing an HD version of the GameCube remake of Resident Evil 1.
I never even thought about it like that.
It was a big overhaul though. That Resident Evil game on GameCube is easily one of the best in the series, and it looked absolutely stunning at the time. It still looks good, but that's because of the pre-rendered backgrounds and you guys know I'm not one to like re-releases often,
right?
But for some reason, both these two games, like the Sleeping Dogs, I really enjoyed, and I'm curious just to see what it looks like. If it looks really brilliant, just visually, I'll be like, okay, maybe I'll pick that up because I love the Hong Kong setting.
Yeah, I mean, like Sleeping Dogs looking as good, if not better, than Watch Dogs. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, totally. So I want to see what that looks like. And with Resident Evil, I mean, I'm just a big Resident Evil fan, and I don't think they've made a really good Resident Evil game since 4, really. Like, 4, even then, like, I loved that game, but it was starting to move away a little bit from what I loved about Resident Evil.
I think. That was
I didn't get into that one, but I had heard it was a little closer to some of the classics.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2, for me, is still one of my favorite survival horror games, and on top of the GameCube remake. So that is one I'm definitely interested in picking up, though. What I don't like is that they just said, hey, it's in development and there's no window.
Yeah.
It's something that I'd rather hear about now and find out, hey, it's coming in a few months and we've been working on it and you can play it and it's only, $20 to download over Xbox Live or something. I would be all over it. But if I have to wait a year and a half or something for this game,
it was such a weird announcement, but yeah. So we have.
I'm interested in it
games.
now. I might not be interested in it in another year.
We have these two games. We have a rumored Mass Effect trilogy coming back to Xbox One and PS4. We have the Tomb Raider thing came out. Let's see what we have. The Master Chief Collection coming. So we know business-wise why this happens, right? I mean, it's free money. Like it's stuff that people already know that they like or they don't like, or maybe they missed it and they wanted to catch it. And so they're going to get it. But I want everybody's take on it. Sean, what's your take on we keep getting this? Do you like it? Are you ever going to like bite? I know you got The Last of Us, right?
The Last of Us. I didn't buy it, but
are you liking this trend, or is it a bad thing, or what?
Here's the thing. I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, they're selling you backwards compatibility." Well, the backwards compatibility not being included in the hardware, that's up to the platform holders. And that's about the cost that they want to spend on whether or not they want to have that additional cost. And putting backwards compatibility in when the systems are not built off of what they were before, and they're all new architecture compared to what it was last gen, that's backwards compatibility would basically have to be two machines inside of it, like PlayStation did with the PlayStation 3 when it first came out.
That massive honking huge ass thing.
Well, it had a PlayStation 2 inside of it.
Yeah, it was.
So the thing is, like, that's not selling backwards compatibility. Like, here's the one thing that nobody talks about that drives me crazy. No one bats an eyelash when there's a Game of the Year edition a year later that sells with all the DLC for $60. No one says anything negative about it, but yet we get a remastered version on our current gen consoles, and all of a sudden it's this big deal. It's just that.
Well, I think there's a little bit of a difference in perception there too, though, where it is like we're getting a re-release of a Game of the Year edition on the same console we've had for that group of people. Where it's like now we have our brand new consoles. That's only because
that platform existed for 8 years.
I know, but I think that's why you
where
get
else
a lot
were
of
they going to
that,
put it?
I think that's why you get a lot of that negativity, though, whether it's unjust or not. I think it is coming from the fact that it's like, well, we got these brand new consoles, and now a lot of the games that are coming out. I agree. I'm not against them whatsoever, and I don't want to hear the complaining about them whatsoever either. The reality is, like, I don't pick them up very often, but I don't mind that they exist for people that didn't get to play them. That's cool. I want more people to play the games.
I think the critique, though, that most people have for stuff like this is all right, so gamers are making assumptions. Shocker. Call the president. Let him know. But what's happening here is people look at like say they announce a Mass Effect trilogy. well, everyone's going to be like, well, this is why we don't have anything for Mass Effect 4 yet, because they're freaking working on up-resing a trilogy. That's not necessarily true. You're just assuming stuff. But I think people see things like this and they think, oh, well, my Red Dead Redemption is going to be later now because they're working on GTA 5 for PC and PS4 and Xbox One. Or they're just buying time with the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition and milking the money out of it instead of working on a new Tomb Raider. Like, I think people see this stuff and assume a lot of things in a negative light instead of seeing like what you were saying where this is just an opportunity for people who missed it the first time around, or like Sean's saying, this is a workaround, because instead we could have much bigger, much more expensive consoles with a let's face it, frankly shoddy backwards compatibility compared to if you're basing it off the previous gen, or you can get like sexy up-res versions of the game. So what's your take, Matt? What do you read from all this?
I want Call of Duty 4 HD remake. That's all.
Oh, it's one of those.
You want that China one? The Chinese one with all of the like greatest hits maps, the online Call of Duty online thing?
No, not that. No. I want a legitimate remake, and I know they remade them in DLC for other Call of Duties, but I want a remake of that, just like simple vanilla, just right there. Just that's the only remake I have interest in. Everything else, I'm like, since they did the Monkey Island HD remakes, then I'm fine. Those are the only two for Call of Duty. But I mean, there's nobody knows really what the internal budgets of these companies are. So I mean, it's hard to say if one's taking away. I must say I was on like the BioShock 2 angry bandwagon when I'm like, why are you putting in multiplayer into a game that's
Completely
mostly about single player? But it's I mean, hey, if there's obviously a demand for these things, and they're collectors and whatnot, and super fans for their own particular franchise. So I mean, I spend a lot of my life like this. I'm like, if it makes a person happy and it's not necessarily taken away from anything, then sure, make an HD remake of everything. Go. All of them. Go.
That's what I'm saying. Why just like don't buy it, skip it, let somebody who's gonna enjoy it enjoy it.
Yeah.
The only thing about this my whole big takeaway is that Square Enix is certifiably insane releasing Sleeping Dogs in October.
Yep. Like leading up to GTA 5.
Are you dumb?
Yeah.
Like that. Like the thing is, Tomb Raider was successful. We all know that it was successful. They just had ridiculous sales expectations, and by all accounts, Sleeping Dogs was a success. It just didn't sell as much as they had hoped.
Hell, it sold a lot more than a true crime game would have sold.
Yeah. So you know that they're doing this to kind of make a little bit more money to try to. I don't know. I don't necessarily feel like it's to gauge interest. I think Sleeping Dogs reviewed very well. It sold like over 2 million copies. There's definitely a foundation there to make a sequel. But it's just I feel like they're trying to make more money, and it's off of off this game, and that's fine. But why are you releasing it in October if that's your goal?
Yeah, and imagine hearing about this Sleeping Dogs release before October got thinned out a little bit. Like, everyone would have just been like, well, there is a big game that's never going to make any money because there's like 700 games coming out in October.
And it also comes out the same day as The Evil Within, though, to be honest, I'll probably get Sleeping Dogs before I'll buy The Evil Within.
Yeah, but you're right, though. The timing is a little weird, and I think that's important to note also for some of these games. I mean, Halo's doing pretty well. I think it's going to be fine. I think it's the people who want that game are totally fucking pumped for it. So as far as like a re-release or a collection or something like that goes, that's going to do well. But if they had released it like later, like if Halo had come out like early in the fall next year alongside Halo 5, first of all, both of those would cannibalize each other, but it wouldn't have sold because it's this is the like hype train for Halo 5. That's why it's going to sell so well. But if you release like Mass Effect, a Mass Effect collection next year, I would do it during the summer. Or in spring or something. I wouldn't release it next to everything else next year.
The Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, if you remember when it came out at the end of
March,
February.
right? Oh, okay, yeah.
No, it came out the end of February. So it was a totally dry season.
There you go.
So it made sense. It was like you could look at this and go, okay, well, there's really not much else to play.
It was like Tomb Raider
It's a good
and
time
Thief.
to put stuff in. But putting this out at that time, it's just suicide to me. Like, I wish them luck. I want it because I love Sleeping Dogs, but you know, I just can't see that selling very well. I just can't.
Sorry, I'm looking at the chat.
Hate to be negative.
No, you're fine. I was checking out the chat, and somebody in the chat just asked if somebody fell out of their chair. I don't know. I missed that sound, whatever that sound was. But I hope everybody's okay and hasn't fallen out of their chair. So that is the news for this week. Unless I missed anything, did anybody have any more alibis? Matt, do you have any breaking news that we can break on the show live here tonight?
Breaking news.
Yeah.
I went to a thing this last week, and you'll find out about it tomorrow.
Woo! Breaking news right here. You're going to hear about something that Matt did tomorrow on Polaris.
I signed a piece of paper. Yeah, tomorrow 11 a.m. on Polaris.
All
There'll
right.
be a video up, and it'll definitely draw the it'll be interesting in the comments. I promise you. I promise you that.
Fun. Well, that's a good teaser. All right, so let's get into our Gamescom predictions, and then we'll wrap the show. So once again, everybody, we're going to give away a free copy of Steam. We're going to give a free copy of Mirror's Edge for Steam. So go ahead and start typing in your Gamescom predictions now. I'm going to try to grab one as they come up, and we will talk about our predictions. We're going to do a round robin thing. So we did this for E3, if anybody remembers. We'll start with Rory, then we'll go to Sean, and then we'll go to Matt, and then I'll do mine, and then we go to Sean, and then we go to Matt, I'll do mine, and then we go to Rory, and so on and so forth. Matt, we'll let you know how you did.
Oh, swell. Thank you.
We'll send you a gift basket with a congratulations or a you suck or something like that.
Okay. I'm hoping for the You Suck gift basket.
It's just dildos. It's just a basket full of dildos.
That could be the congratulations one too.
Yeah, they're just different colors. All right, so what did I say, Sean? You're gonna go first.
That's not what you said, but I'll go first.
All right, Sean, you're going first.
No.
So after getting my ass kicked with my E3 predictions,
That was
Rory,
impressive. You got 0 points.
I got 0 points. I think Until Dawn, obviously they're teasing it already. I think that's going to be surprisingly good looking, and I think it's going to come out this fall. I think that's going to be another Sony exclusive coming out for PlayStation 4 this fall.
Okay, well, the first part's kind of subjective. So what is that? It's coming for the fall.
No, I think it's going to. I think. Well, I get okay. I mean, yeah, it is subjective, but I think it's going to surprise people. I think it's going to surprise people how good it looks.
Okay, so it's going to be a standout title, is what you're saying, like
yes,
like a shocker. So
yes.
Until Dawn, standout title, as opposed to a yawn fest or something like that.
Yeah,
all right.
I guess.
So
not your words, not mine, but whatever.
All right, we'll measure this scientifically next week. Rory, what do you got for me?
All right. Well, I got two that are. I'm not going to list off to you right now, but for our listeners, these are going to sound a little familiar because last week we kind of unofficially blabbed a little bit about
we started to stumble into this, and then we
at
decided we were
Gamescom.
going to do it for real this week.
Yeah, so I'm going to use two of those, though, and I'll start with one of them that I repeated last week, and I think that despite 343 and Microsoft really focusing on Master Chief Collection and Halo 2 specifically and the multiplayer, I am predicting that even if it's short, like I said last week, and at the end of a sizzle reel or something, we will see just a couple shots, a tease of the Halo 5 beta. Just at the end of everything, once they're done talking about Halo 2 and all that stuff, and they show like a montage of the Master Chief Collection is coming, at the very end of that or something, we're just going to see snippets. Holy shit, was that the Halo 5 beta? Oh my god, that looks awesome. And that's my prediction.
So Halo 5 beta trailer / teaser thing.
So if
just something we get our
points.
No, my prediction is that we see it. My prediction is that we see even if it's like one screenshot or 2 seconds of live action like frames or whatever, gameplay frames, but we will get a tease. Whatever that is, we'll get a tease of what Halo 5 beta is going to look like.
It'll be Destiny footage.
Somebody will accidentally put it in there.
Whoops. They're Guardians. That's they're Guardians. They, oh, yeah.
Yeah, 343 announces like, just kidding, we are now Bungie.
Yeah.
We've actually been working on Destiny this whole time. All right, Matt, what do you got for me?
I think that beta guess is actually pretty good. I like that one. But
well, you can't use it.
I won't use that though. I'm gonna pony on the. I'll jump on that one. But King's Quest game. There'll be a King's Quest game announced. Anyway, that'll be Sierra is coming back. Sierra's gonna.
Yeah, that was in the news, right? That was Sierra. What did they say? What was that deal? I don't remember what the deal was.
It was just there was a logo and they said there's going to be stuff at Gamescom.
That's right.
And so I picked probably the one with most nostalgia for most people. And since everybody's a fucking sucker for nostalgia, it's going to be King's Quest.
Nice.
And then the internet will be awash with fucking meme fry pics going, take my money. Just all over the place, except they'll be like bags of gold from King's Quest.
You're predicting the meme too. I like that.
Yeah, that double. That's like a half a prediction right there.
Okay, so some of the stuff that we have in the chat, I'm going to read off, and then I'll go back and tell you who won. We've got Vinman says that No Man's Sky will be announced for Xbox One. Probably not. Abdallah apparently agrees with that because he said that Vin needs to stop stealing his predictions.
Nope.
Earlier, Abdallah also predicted that there will be an Xbox. Oh, no. Bill said that there's going to be an Xbox Slim with a terabyte hard drive. Do you guys think there's going to be new hardware this year? I don't think so either. That's way too soon.
And they're also not going to announce No Man's Sky for Xbox. That's ridiculous.
Steven says that in a big fuck you to Ubisoft, Naughty Dog announces Elena as a fully playable character in Uncharted 4. Atrocitus Rage said Portal 3? Valve is going to be there. We did hear that, right?
If Valve is bringing a 3, it's got to be Half-Life 3, man. That's what I want to see.
That's what you want it to be, but if they
old.
were going to bring a 3, it's going to be Left 4 Dead 3 because that's the only one that even seems like remotely realistic.
I like this one. Alex in the chat says that we're going to get an Elder Scrolls Online release date for console because it was pushed to next year, but we don't.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I think that would be doable.
And they're also they need money.
They do need money. Yeah.
That.
You think that they simultaneously announce free to play?
No, they still gotta pretend like there's more life in a subscription based thing for
I mean, at least Marvel Heroes figured it out. Just make your game free, but then re-release it every year. That's smart.
Yeah.
I like that. That's a good way to do it. Okay, so I will make a prediction. Oh shit! What was my prediction? A week maybe. So I don't even know if they're going to be there, but it would be cool to see the Doom gameplay that was at QuakeCon, at Gamescom. That would be pretty rad. Nobody actually playing it, but just
came out and said you'll never will like.
You're never going to see Doom. That sucks.
No, I think I was listening to the guys that did say that like what they showed at QuakeCon was that's specifically like
you're talking about the bonus round. I saw that too. I know what you're talking about. But that was the day of, or that was the week of QuakeCon. Like I think they were talking about they're not going to pop it up on YouTube, but if they showed it to the people at Gamescom, like now this is what, like a month later or 2 months later. Or something?
It's harder for them to keep like it strictly under wraps,
like hiding it.
Then at QuakeCon where they're sort of like it's their thing, you know.
Yeah.
Either they put it out everywhere or they keep on holding it to their chests, which they're probably gonna do.
You think so?
It's a while, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and throw that out there just for fun. So my prediction is Doom gameplay, or the Doom thing that everybody saw. Whatever that was, that gameplay, Matt?
Yeah, it was gameplay.
Okay, so it was actual gameplay. It wasn't like a cinematic take on the gameplay?
No, it was gameplay.
All right, cool.
I would be hyped if that prediction came true. I'd like to see that.
Yeah.
I heard good stuff about that footage.
Yeah, and that's why I would like to see it happen, mostly because like the buzz was so positive. Like I don't think everybody expected to walk in there and then walk out like with their jaw on the floor. You know, I think people are a little curious to see how things go with Doom, since it is not really on the best terms, in my opinion, right now. And on top of that, Wolfenstein just came out and did a great job. So it would be nice to see Doom come out and do the same. Okay, so back to Sean.
So since there's 3 press conferences, I'm going to go with Microsoft now. I think, it's hard because all I really know about is Quantum Break. I guess I could say that, I mean, okay, Microsoft's going to show another new IP.
Okay,
for Xbox
so
One.
totally new. Like, that's their big thing? Because they did a tease, right? They were like, we got big things coming for Gamescom.
I hope so, and I hope it's not fucking footage of Crackdown.
In an unrelated prediction, do you think that's going to happen too? No?
No, but I like when they finished their E3 press conference with a womp womp, like that's how it felt to me. Even though it was a strong conference, I just feel like Crackdown was not a very good way to end your show.
I would have loved for Crackdown to be like in the middle, right around where Halo was. I think the pacing worked out because Halo got everybody excited, but it would have been nice for them to end on Halo so everybody's like, whoa. And then later, after they leave the conference room, they're like, wait a minute. We didn't see anything new. Like, what the hell? I just got tricked. But instead, everybody was like, whoa. And they had the rest of the conference to go like, okay, where's the cool thing? Where's the and one more thing? Where's my punchline? So who knows? All right, so
I made it back.
Just in time. No one noticed that, but Rory fell off of his stool, and now he's back.
my Skype sometimes after running a conversation for too long, it's just like, nope, all right, you've had enough. So what did Sean predict there? What did I miss?
He's predicting a new IP, and then we also established that
from Microsoft
Crackdown gameplay will probably not happen for some reason.
Okay, cool. New IP is a good choice. Here's another repeat from last week. Sorry, guys, if you tuned in last week, but I feel good about it. I'm gonna say we're gonna see Banjo-Kazooie revealed.
I was gonna just go broad and say Rare.
Yeah, there could be something from anything from Rare, but I'm gonna pinpoint it and say Banjo-Kazooie. It's coming out exclusive to Xbox One, and it's gonna be a classic platformer, and people are gonna be excited about it. I hope. But
a
prediction
new
is we see
Banjo-Kazooie game,
an
right?
announcement, a new announcement, Banjo 3E. Oh yeah.
All right, cool. So that brings us to Matt.
I was gonna say a Rare, like just broadly say a Rare title.
Yeah.
And hope that it was a Conquer game, because I think Conquer's awesome. I miss the squirrel talking about fucking, but
So Project Sparks, your new thing where you're gonna make your dream Conquer game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that was I thought that was a weird part of the press conference too.
Super weird, right?
All right. Well, then I'll go and I'll say we finally see more of Uncharted 4 other than a teaser.
Okay. Ooh,
Like
that's good.
actual, Uncharted stuff. Maybe even multiplayer. Maybe they make a bigger push towards multiplayer type stuff too.
You get bonus points if that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so my turn. I'm doing terrible because I'm not thinking about this ahead of time. I want to believe that EA comes out and shows actual, real life, no shit gameplay of a game.
No.
Oh fuck you! You can't do that, broad.
All
Because
right,
I
I'm
was
gonna say
fucking...
I'm gonna say Mirror's Edge 2. Or Mirror's Edge the reboot, Mirror's Edge the Awakening real life reboot.
So no more concept. We're gonna see in-engine gameplay.
Yeah, guys, it's real. I swear, it's a real game. We're really making it.
I'd like to see that.
So hopefully that's the case. So Sean, what was your? Oh wait, hold on. Let me jump back in here real quick and see what people are saying. Dookie says Sony reveals a new demo of the Order 1886, and Bloodborne gets gameplay that was shown behind closed doors at E3. That's pretty accurate. I mean, that sounds pretty pinpoint. I like that. Okay, Dookie also says, I think he said this before he heard us say this. He said that there's going to be a live demo of Crackdown showing off the destructible environments and such. So we'll see about that.
I think they're going to save that for E3 next year.
That's a long time, but I think with this game you can kind of afford to wait, right?
2016 anyway.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And then we'll put one more. Ramon says EA is going to put Raymond is going to put Titanfall in the vault for EA access. I don't think that's happening yet.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I'd like to see it.
Interesting idea.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. That's one of the things that's got me excited because I have Titanfall physically, but I want a digital copy of it, and if I can just get it for having EA access, that'd be pretty rad for me. That would sell me on access like immediately.
I think that's the kind of thinking that they're looking for that, to kind of like help people, swallow a little bit more getting access to games that way.
Yeah. I agree, and I think that would be a smart move. Okay, so let's loop back around. Sean, what do you got for your final prediction?
Well, I was going to say something along the lines of what you said, that EA, but that's my cynical self, because I gave them shit about not showing anything last year at E3.
That was terrible.
So I think they're gonna announce that new BioWare game that they've been teasing for weeks.
The new IP. Oh, yeah. The one with the trailers. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Oh.
There's a name of it. It's got a name, and I can't remember the name of the
Impact or something like that, or something like that. But I think they're gonna reveal that to the world.
So what do you I'm not going to take you down as this specific, but what do you expect? Like a teaser, just a title, and see more at E3 next year or some shit like that? Or
they've been teasing the shit out of that for a while, and I feel like EA has to know. They can't be totally tone deaf to know that everybody shat on their fucking E3 press conference because it was garbage. So I think that they want to get people excited. I don't think they can show up with more teasers and concept footage. I feel like they have to show something more about what that game is. I don't know necessarily if we're going to see gameplay, because I don't know. Who knows how long that game's been in development. But I feel like we're going to see a little bit more than the vague ass shit we've been seeing lately. You know what I mean?
Okay. Rad. Rory, what you got for me, buddy?
You know what? I'm stuck now thinking of a third. So if Matt doesn't mind getting thrown under the bus here on the spot, I'm gonna let Matt go first.
Matt's used to be under buses. I mean, he knows what buses feel like.
I've been stealing Matt's predictions from under him here. So let's Matt, you go first. And
no problem. Probably my wildest prediction. Crazy. We'll have a launch window for Morpheus. It's just another one. I'll say it to make it hopefully have it happen. The Sony VR. Morpheus.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna get some info on Morpheus.
I'd say a launch window.
Okay.
Like a
wait.
quarter.
So you think a launch window or like a beta window or something? You think they're gonna?
Well, not a beta window, but when their expected street date. Nice. They'll be fourth quarter 2015, Morpheus.
Crazy. That would be. I wouldn't put it past them, but that still is just gonna be nuts
if they're first to market with that, I'd say the console wars are over.
You think so?
71. It's pretty, and then basically, I mean, Microsoft clearly has to be developing something as well, and so then they run the risk of putting out a half-baked whatever, kind of connect with some other bullshit to try to make that happen. And it's just not gonna be as good. Whereas Sony's been working on this type of technology for a while, and it's actually a lot harder than you think to make a VR a VR set that works well, that doesn't make you want to vomit or feel just generally uncomfortable. A system that you'd want to play for hours, it's kind of tough to do that. And so if they're able to like get it out and have it still be relatively good,
Yeah.
yeah, that's game over, man.
Game over.
Game
Sweet.
over. Yeah. VR's incredible.
All right,
Love it.
so back to Rory.
Yeah, I'm ready. I just felt I'm falling back on an old one based off some information. I can't think of something fresh. I'm a little disappointed that
I know where you're
Nintendo's not
going
at
with this.
Nintendo's not at Gamescom, so I don't know if they're doing Nintendo Direct during the week of Gamescom. Does that count?
No.
Okay, then I can't do a Nintendo prediction. So I'm gonna do a third Microsoft one now, and Sean unfortunately made this prediction during E3 based on some information I had a little bit, and it didn't pan out, which I was really surprised by. But I think maybe this will be the time we get the announcement tease that Black Tusk has moved on to Gears of War and that it exists and it's coming. And it might just be a CG thing.
Yeah.
Again, like I know that they've shot some mocap like for it. I know that there's been stuff going on with stunt guys and they've shot like this thing. I'm just wondering when the hell is that going to be revealed? And
They'll do that.
so that's my third prediction. It might be a little bit of a safe one, but maybe not. I don't know. But we're gonna get just a logo, something. Even if it's CG, we're gonna get that Gears is coming. It exists, and we should be hyped.
Rod Ferguson's been working on that for a while now, so
Right. And he gets things going. I mean, he's been hanging over there, so it's not like he's
he at least shows up when things. It's like there he is. So something must be happening.
I think it would be a good time. They didn't show it at E3. They had enough on their plate. They did show the Gears logo in their montage at the end, but that was it. We just saw for a split second the logo popped up, so we know like it's we all know it's in the future at Black Tusk. But I think
we all know
this
that
might be the
Microsoft
time.
remembers that they have Gears of War.
Yeah, and I think this might be the time though where we hear something. We hear the characters that are going to be in the game. We hear their voice. We get an idea of just some tone maybe, and this is it. Gears of War announcement properly.
Okay. Shit. So we know we're going to see an unannounced map for Halo. And we know we're going to see there's going to be a tournament for Halo. So there's going to be a ton of Halo 2 anniversary gameplay. And I think my prediction will be Halo related. And I'm going to talk this slow, so I think about what
Please
the
don't.
fuck I want to say.
I have to go in 3 minutes.
Yeah, I know, man. All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. I predict that we see a full level of Halo 2 anniversary campaign played, or it's playable, like people can play it at the show. So a Halo 2 anniversary campaign level playable.
I think playable is a good bet. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that.
Yeah. And then now we need to select a winner of Mirror's Edge 2 for free on Steam. And
What a great game.
I have it down to a couple people. I'm going to ask you guys on the chat 1, 2, or 3. So, Sean, 1, 2, or 3. Just pick a number, man.
2.
All right, Matt.
1.
All right, Rory.
Well, Drew, obviously I'm going to make you the tiebreaker. 3.
So I'm going to go with 3. So Dookie wins a copy of Mirror's Edge for
All
Steam.
right.
Thanks, Dookie. Hit me up. Message the Rated M for Podcast Twitch channel, and I will get your info and send you the code. So congratulations, Dookie, for your win. So we also have this like mysterious benefactor that gives us all this shit. I'm convinced that he is like some Egyptian prince out in Africa, but he is convinced that he lives in Tanzania and doesn't know how to internet, even though he gets all this Steam stuff. And he is laying out a really big prize for us to give away to people in our Facebook group. So what you need to do is go to facebook.com/groups/ratedmpodcast and join our group, and you will be able to possibly win full 2L humble bundles. So it's 2K, full 2K humble bundle. So BioShock 1, 2, Infinite, Mafia 2, Darkness 2, and more.
Oh, that's good.
So the way you're going to do that is you're going to go join our group, and then we're going to create a thread to win this prize. And the person with the most accurate predictions for Gamescom wins. So what you need to do is you need to join us like in the next couple days, and anything that's predicted that like already gets announced like tomorrow morning, that's gonna be off the shelf. But for the course of the week, we're just gonna do some kind of prize giveaway thing. So that's pretty rad. Go to our Facebook group, join our group, follow us on Twitter at Rated M Podcast. I'm Drew at Drew_Freeman85. Sean is into another, in the letter N, the number 2, the letter N, the word other on Twitter. Rory is Red Eye Games Live, and Matt is, all right, do your thing, man. It's weird. What is your
DJ Matty D.
But it's spelled weird, right? It's like
DEJAY Matty D.
Okay, cool. And check us out, and we will be live every Sunday from now on. So thanks for joining us tonight, guys. And I think that's gonna wrap it. So thanks for joining us tonight, Matt. And we'll see you guys next week. So
Are we gonna tease what's happening next week?
Do I know what's happening next week?
All right, if you want to do it, we'll do that. I thought we had to skip you out of here real quick, but we will do that. So next week we're gonna have the Annoyed Gamer, Marcus Beer, on the show.
Oh yeah.
Rory's like, what am I doing next week?
What an idiot! I swear to God.
So please tune in for that. Tune in every week. Check us out on Twitch and subscribe on iTunes and be our best friends. And we'll see you guys next week.
Later, guys.
Right.
Bye.
Yeah, it was good talking to you, Matt.
Thanks. Likewise, of course.
I hated it.
Oh, that's too bad.
No, kidding. That is awesome. It was
Rory
awesome
doesn't
meeting you.
hate anything.
Oh,
I
know
want to
what?
be there
Shit.
when Rory hates something.
Hating is so exhausting, man. So Matt, though, I wanted to ask you something on air, and I totally forgot. So the question I was going to ask you was super lighthearted. I was watching some of your vids in prep for the show.
Hey, real quick, we're still live. It's just the show's over. I did
All
the
right,
outro
well,
and
people can
everything.
listen and get the response too, so that's cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
So Matt, I watched your hot pepper review of the Destiny Alpha.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, I watched that.
it was a really funny vid, great vid. So my question to you though is, what was really going on inside your head as that pepper started to kick in?
Were you like,
Because
this is the worst idea ever?
You start to lose it, man. And you're sweating, and I could just see your eyes are darting around. And
Dude,
I'm
I'm
just thinking,
surprised
man,
they didn't cut
He's got to
that.
be thinking like, call an ambulance. I don't know.
Yeah, I was surprised there weren't more like a bunch of cuts during that video. That is just straight you hanging in there, hanging tough. How'd that go?
Well, yeah, like I chewed it up, and I thought I was, I like spicy food. I thought I was gonna have to ham it up and like act and be like, oh God, this pepper is so hot. Oh man. But it was very hot. And when I chewed it up and I swallowed it, actually some of it basically stuck in the back of my throat.
Oh.
So it was kind of tough, and I actually you write up basically bullet points that you put under the camera for your review right there. And so ultimately your main motivation is to just get through it as fast as you can in order to be able to get the milk at the end of it. And I'm mildly lactose intolerant and was guzzling the milk down because it was I felt a weird, like afterwards it was fine, and I had eaten a bunch of food beforehand because I didn't want any red ring of death at the.
Did you get to a point in the middle of it where you thought, I am not going to be able to finish this?
It's just like it was just very, very, very uncomfortable, and I realized I was turning red while I was doing it too, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna look weird. But I mean, hey, that's like the more pain you're in, the better of a video
It made for great entertainment, man. It was awesome.
So I'm glad it worked out like that for sure. And who knows? I think I may be doing the actual just straight up game review coming up for that. They got to bring me back on.
Oh, really?
I know the Hot Pepper gaming crew pretty well, so yeah, they're like, oh yeah, we'll bring it on.
All right, so it looks like Dookie already has the game, so I'm gonna give it to. Luckily, I grabbed a couple other people, so I'm gonna give it to somebody else.
Cool.
I think I'm gonna give it to Ramon if he's still here. Ramon, are you still here? Looks like DRL 23. I'm gonna give you the game, bro.
Shout out to Dookie as well. He's the guy that joined us for a little
That's
Forza
right.
Motorsport 5.
Dookie, did you hear the episode where we couldn't remember your name at all? We were like, yeah, Ramon played some video games with us, and then I forgot.
Mike Duke, I think, is the name. I could be wrong though.
Mike Duke. Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah. All right. So blah. Damn it. Okay, so I just remember what I was gonna say. Kale didn't show up.
Yeah.
I knew he wouldn't. I really wanted him to. He was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna come troll."
Yeah.
He's a busy guy.
Well, yeah, sorta. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Have you been watching his stuff? Have you been kicking it with him? I know you guys were gonna meet up. I watched the video of you guys getting shaved. That was fantastic.
Oh, the Assassin's Creed, experience. I'm actually wearing the shirt that I got from that right now. Yeah, I mean we meet up every once in a while and talk and whatnot. Yeah, it's not like an everyday thing, but I still hang out with him and play games with him every once in a while.
So, oh shit, what was I gonna say? So things over at Polaris seem to be going pretty well, but I guess in my mind, I'm always curious. Like, do you ever think about like super group bullshit where you get like all your buddies together and go do your own thing? Has that ever been something that like you've had aspirations for? I think he's trying to start his own like site and do his own thing at the moment.
Oh, I mean, yeah, like that'd be great. It's hard to make money, like do money.
Yeah, money's the hard part, right?
The money end of that. I mean, honestly, the beginning of the certain points in Machinima that kind of was how it was. Like I still am friends with and love a lot of those dudes from there. So it's like we definitely had like kind of that sort of thing going on for a bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just kind of like my future just sort of going where I can get in and where I don't hate my job, and where I don't hate who I work with.
That's super nice to have.
It is. It's important.
I was curious. I know you get asked this all the time, and I know you've answered about 1,000 times. Like, how'd you get in? How does it work? Or whatever. I don't want to know how you got in because I think everybody can find that all over the place. But I feel like now that you've been quote unquote in for a while and you've been to a couple different places and you see how stuff operates, what's your advice to people? I guess in our position, like Rory's on a dude. I looked up Kids World on fucking Alexa. Holy shit. Dude, that site is massive. Like, how the hell? What the hell? Like, all right, so Rory writes for a website called Kids World, and it's about, like, everything, right? There's more than just games. There's all kinds of stuff on that site.
It's like it's like a online magazine for kids. The reality is, though, I mean, it's a great site for the kids to socialize on, but their budget right now is like really tight, so there's not a lot of contributions like on the writing side. Like even from me at the moment, it's like it's slow there, so kids can't really like get all the greatest like game stuff there. Unfortunately, I try and bring them what I can, but like you say, because of the forums and such and the live chat rooms that they have, they bring in really great numbers, and that's how I was able to, without any fuss, get into E3 this year with a media badge, because they just hit these crazy numbers because the forums are so populated with these kids playing. They like role play in there and and do all
they're
kinds
just hanging
of
in
stuff
there all the time.
They're constantly in there, man. And like the articles get hit, like all the stuff that I write and anybody else that contributes, like they do good traffic. But the reality is it's the forums and the live chat where the kids are just constantly in. And I thank the kids for that because I get to go to E3 because of that. So even if I did one little article a week for them, I'm in E3 next year, like guaranteed. So
that's pretty rad.
It's pretty cool.
So what I was going to ask though, Matt, like, so from my perspective, I write or I edit for a website called We the Nerdy. I run 2 podcasts just on my own, like we are tonight. And I have my own site that I throw those up on, and they're on iTunes and stuff. And we have communities and stuff that I try to keep active. We have a lot of people here in the chat that we always play video games with, and we always do giveaways and stuff. What's your recommendation for guys like us that kind of want to get closer to the machinimas and game trailers and stuff like that of the world?
Well, I mean, it's like it's obviously it's not the easiest thing in the world to do. I mean, it's kind of hard to give a non-generic answer because I mean, it isn't really like this thing. Like, really, the best thing is just try a bunch of stuff and keep on doing it and try to be unique in doing it and try to like, what's your angle? What's your unique like bit to it? Why would somebody that you don't know and will who has no idea who you are, why would somebody spend their time partaking in a thing you're making? Why put it up out there?
Okay.
Is kind of like a base question to do it. And then the other thing is also like, I mean, honestly, proximity to proximity, the actual geographic location helps a lot. Like,
yeah,
I
see,
mean,
I'm out in Maryland.
yeah,
Like,
see, like,
there's
well, I
nothing
mean,
here.
just fucking. If you like, honestly, if you did like with all the hoaxes and shit going on with Fallout 4, if you did like a fucking like a web, like whether it's serious or not,
Yeah.
like a video web detective series of like looking for clues for Fallout 4,
Like physically
Just-
outside, like
but
walking
exactly.
around looking for like, we found this rad,
Do that.
this Nuka-Cola
Exactly.
bottle over
Just-
here in Bethesda.
just like dick around and for like, even if you did like literally a man on the street where you drove to outside of the offices and just asked people who were coming and going regardless of if they had anything to do with the fucking video game or not, just asked them about Fallout 4, that would probably be a pretty good, would be a video. Like, doing things that are just kind of like unique and take advantage of like what you have uniquely available to you at that time, I think is a really good thing. And then just do stuff like you're already doing it. Just keep on doing things.
Yeah.
Put it out there.
Yeah, I like when we had Kale on and like just having a response from you, like that was just, we were like, oh shit, we can do this. We can just have people on, like they'll just come hang out with us. That's cool. And the first thing I thought was like, oh, what are we gonna do? And then I just decided to make it like a non-pressure. Like I don't want to sit here and grill you or like make it a competition thing. Like, oh man, isn't this cool? You know what I mean? I just wanted it to be I think right now what Rated M is supposed to be is just a place for people to like get together, talk about video games, and just nerd out about like loving the shit out of some video games and like sharing our thoughts and stuff. And it's really grown into more of a community more so than it is a podcast. Like the podcast just happens to be the thing that the community has been built up around. But I think that's kind of our focus, or at least that's
great.
That's what it is for me.
That's it kind of sounds similar to start a Screw Attack. Like they're super about
Oh man, that's a giant family over there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And same with Rooster Teeth. I mean, to me, like my personal, just for me, I don't know about you, Rory, but like when it comes to looking at stuff that's going on in the industry and like where things are going with companies like Machinima and Rooster Teeth and even Screw Attack and game trailers themselves, like stuff like that, it's all about community and getting people together and people who like to be together. Like you can get a lot of people together in an IGN comment section and everybody wants to murder each other and they're all 12 or whatever.
Totally.
But it's about getting people together who want to be together and enjoy like that connection and stuff, and that's what draws them to something like that. That is an inspiration for me, I guess. I just want to get people together that enjoy it, and just enjoy getting together.
And that's why, like, I love Twitch, and even now that these new rules are coming in, it's like Kale was saying when he was on the show that Twitch is a little bit like the Wild Wild West, and we can all just sort of
Will
jump
Smith
on
and
there
everything.
and broadcast live and create whatever the hell we want to on there. And there's just a lot of freedom, and that's going to get a little, the grip's going to tighten a bit on that probably, but hopefully there's some benefits with this whole
Definitely.
thing.
But it's cool to see like some kid in his living room has like more viewers or as many viewers as like fucking Fred Durst.
Yeah, like I
how
love
cool
it. I
is that?
feed off that stuff, right? Like I like being able to just broadcast, even if I'm just having a quiet, low-key day that's not high energy, and just getting on there and letting people come in and chit-chatting with them. And it's all about the communities. That's what I love about where we're going in this industry.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that, at least as far as Rated M goes, we're going the right direction as far as like knowing our community. Like half the people in that chat, like we know all those guys. I think I only I didn't recognize like 3 people. You know what I mean? And it's cool to see people that we don't recognize, because then we get to kind of start over this conversation of, hey, welcome, here's what we do. What do you think? And I love that. And I think that, like Polaris does a great job of being really down to earth. And I've always loved that. The guys that they have over there are very approachable and very like realistic, so to speak, which I think that's the best way to go. You got to go that way to establish that core audience. Otherwise, you're not going to grow.
Yeah.
But hey, man, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate your time, and it was really cool having you on.
Yeah, Matt, it's been a real pleasure, man, honestly.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, it was great for me too.
Now go eat some hot peppers.
I will. I will indeed. All right, you guys have a good night.
All right,
You
take
too,
care,
buddy.
dude. All right, still live for a second. I want to say goodbye to everybody. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We love you. You're fucking awesome.
Make sure to check us all out on our channels. You know where we're at.
Yeah, go find us. If you don't know where we're at and you're looking at this right now, go to the info pane on our channel. It has links out to everything: Facebook, Twitter, iTunes, YouTube, all that stuff. So please go check us out, and we'll be playing with you soon. So see you next week, guys.